So yeah, in short, Kamen Rider W, cheesy fun, go watch it now. And that concludes the review section, which means we now move on to...
Quickfire Reviews!
As it says on the tin, this is the section where me and Sven review everything we've read, watched, or played, but within the maximum time limit of 60 seconds. I guess I'll go first.
Mass Effect, an RPG by Firewhale. I've enjoyed this greatly. The story was interesting, I had fun experimenting with the different lines of dialogue and everything, and aside from the Mako's really odd physics, I enjoyed the controls of the game, although it took me a while to adjust because I'm really bad at shooters. The only negative things I can say about it are, one, I felt some of the dialogue choices could have been better worded, and the other negative element is not to do with the game with itself, but to do with my PC, doing such things as rendering a lava-filled plane as an entirely black landscape, just showing me the wonders of PC gaming, and why I hate it.
And that's it, that review.
Well, I was expecting sarcasm, but instead I got, and that's why I hate it.
Kind of reverse sarcasm. Anyway.
Yeah.
As for me, I've been playing a freeware roguelike RPG called Alona, which I can sum up with one word: difficulty!
And on that note...
I've been playing an RPG called Zenobia, an RPG which I found on DSi. Gameplay is vaguely interesting and the dialogue did get a few chuckles out of me, I will admit, but it's bloody difficult, and to get anywhere you have to continuously grind on monsters, which is not something I'm a fan of, hence why I gave up on Final Fantasy III. So yeah, overall, if you like grinding, go ahead and buy it.
Come to think of it, that's another way to sum up Alona. Grinding.
Anyway.
And it doesn't help out as any that, oh, you can buy as much as you want in this game, but after level 6, they start to take shit away from you.
What?
Yeah, after level 6, if you die, oh yeah, they're gonna start taking things away from you for being so utterly and unforgivably bad at computer gaming.
Well, it's even worse, they take money away from you in Zenobia every time you die.
Yeah, they do that in Alona too. I'm not looking forward to level 6 because I die a lot.
Ah. Anyway, better get back to the quickfire reviews.
Super Mario Sunshine, definitely a lot better than I remember it being. My only real complaint would be that sometimes it's a little bit unforgiving in terms of how precise your jumps need to be, etc, etc. But apart from that, yeah, I would really say it's an enjoyable game. So, yeah, pretty much another enjoyable Mario platformer. Finally, a quick review of the big two. Naruto, vaguely interesting with Naruto getting new powers and everything. It's alright but not impressive. Bleach, taking a very interesting turn, what with all the brainwashed people and everything. I mean, yeah, I know it's technically not brainwashing, but that's what it acts like, frankly. So yeah, it's something that hasn't been done before in Bleach-ish, unless you count Aizen's hypnotism, and it's creating some interesting situations, so yeah, I'll keep reading for now.
Yeah, and I'm just going to disclaim that by saying, I already find myself about 50 times more interested in Tsukishima than I was ever interested in Aizen.
Okay, that's definitely a solid recommendation.
Well, it's also not really a compliment because Aizen was Aizen.
Yeah. And on that awkward note, it's time to move on to our final section.
Discussion!
This is the section where me and Sven take a moment to stand, or sit, on an imaginary soapbox and discuss an issue within fiction. And today, we're going to ask a very important question. Why? And then to add a little context so that question makes some sense. Me and Sven have often named fictional characters we often dislike or rant about their faults, but we never really attempt to dig below the surface of our rage. So today we're going to ask ourselves, why do we hate these characters and others like them? Just what is it about them that makes us so frustrated by their very existence? So, Sven, name some characters you dislike and what common thread connects them.
Well, I'll start out with the thread. First off, heroic sociopaths. I put special quotation marks around heroic. I'm talking about the main characters of games such as, say, Lynch 2, and, well, quite a few third-person action games that try to be dark and edgy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would throw in Bayonetta, because that's one that's been really grinded into.
Yeah, and let me just give this disclaimer too. I'm not talking about heroic sociopaths in the Bleach sense, like, say, Kenpachi, because in his case, he's batshit insane in the general pursuit of overall decent goal, so I can excuse that. I'm talking about the people whose ends will never justify the means.
Yeah, I always kind of despise those people too. To be honest, it's more... I guess you would qualify them as heroic sociopaths, which kind of shares a vague thread, but I've often disliked characters like Sasuke and indeed Bayonetta. In fact, Bayonetta's especially okay, so I'll get to why in a moment, and I guess if you want to throw I've only seen the first cutscene, but the hero of Death Device Retribution as well. The reason for that is, I hate it when characters feel they have to belittle people in order to be badass. I mean, something like Kratos, okay, that's vaguely acceptable because the game makes a point that Kratos is a dick, and that's kind of the point of the story. They're not trying to glorify his actions, they're pointing out that he's a violent thug, essentially.
Yeah.
But there are just some games where they are complete and utter gits. They treat everyone around them like crap. They will belittle them, they will mock them, they'll sometimes even hurt them for no reason other than to make themselves look good. And yet the games keep trying to tell us, oh, these guys are badasses, they're cool people you want to be. No! No, I don't! I hate these people! I hate them with a fiery passion! They're the kind of people I can't stand in real life. I do not want to see them in fiction. And I pay special attention to Bayonetta because this is a true story. I was thinking about reviewing Bayonetta for Video Game Troubadour because it was my saying, I thought, well, I could at least make some comedy out of that, and there did seem to be some humorous elements for a while. I mean, I watched the first few cutscenes of the story using a walkthrough, and it did seem like there were some interesting elements I could comment on, some elements I could laugh at, but I eventually stopped and told myself I would never go back because I could not stand Bayonetta as a character. I did not care if the game tried to justify it down the line. I did not care if it led to any development. I didn't even care about the plot elements. I just couldn't stand having to watch this completely unlikable, sadistic, self-centered, insecure bitch answer around and act like she is the hero we're all supposed to be worshipping. I just couldn't do it, and keep in mind, I've sat through a lot of crap. I've played Sonic Chronicles from beginning to end, and also Shadow the Hedgehog. I have sat through a walkthrough of one of the worst RPGs I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'll be getting to that in VGT, don't you worry. I gone through a lot of bad games, but I could not stand Bayonetta. It just filled me with so much rage, and I just thought, you know what, screw it, I'm dropping this. I don't care what happens next, I cannot put up with this anymore.
Wow, that is pretty bad, and I am never looking at Bayonetta from here on out thanks to that oh-so-wonderful recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not saying the story or the game Bayonetta is bad. I mean, the story itself did have some interesting elements. It's just, well, I have to admit it's a completely irrational response, because every time I even think about it, I just hate her. The entire game goes on and on about how, like I said, she's meant to be this unbelievably sexy badass, but every time I look at her, I always just saw myself as this insecure bitch who felt that the only way to make herself feel good is that she had to have the last word in every conversation. She could not let anything go. She could not let even a single bit of aggression or just a snide remark go past without making ill punishment for it. When someone says, look, you can buy guns from me, but I honestly don't care about what happens to you in your quest. That's something you could just easily ignore, but no, she has to go, I don't care that you sold me these guns. If you get in my way, how did the Americans put it? Oh yeah, bust a cap in your ass, which just, ugh.
Well, I'm not sure how to lead on from that one.
Sorry, this is something I've been bottling up for a while. That's a rant I've been stuck up to, but yeah. It's a common link I've found with many characters and other people like her. I hate this idea that somehow the only way to cool is to be a git, because it's not the way at all, you know? There are plenty of characters like Master Chief, just to give an example. The Master Chief, I'm going to go more into this in the VGT, but Master Chief is essentially just a guy who knows he's got a job to do and just does it. He doesn't belittle anyone, he doesn't try to show off, he just goes, right, I'm doing this, we'll do that, don't worry, I'll get it done. It's just absolute confidence that I can do this. He doesn't flinch in the face of danger or anything like that. He just asks what the mission is and then does it. That's how you portray a badass, someone who's so confident they don't feel the need to belittle anyone. Whenever anyone mocks them, they don't feel the need to take a rise because they honestly know that it's not worth it. That's how you show what a badass is, not by having someone who's just an arrogant arsehole and all.
Yeah, I can't really think of any way to disagree, and I also can't really find much way to top Bayonetta.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you will, because there is one other element I dislike, and I'm about to bring in an example pretty close to your heart. Aizen.
One moment, please.